Welcome dear student and Jai Swaminarayan. In the previous video, we were discuss about the average velocity and the instantaneous velocity. How we can calculate the average velocity during a given time interval and how we can calculate the instantaneous velocity. Dear student, what do you mean by the instantaneous velocity? Right? The velocity at the instant of the time is called the instantaneous velocity. At a is called the instantaneous velocity, or we can say that the velocity of an object, right, at a particular given time interval. So dear student, from the average velocity we cannot determine exactly what is the velocity at the particular time, right? What is the velocity at the instant of the time? For that we will discuss in the previous video. We will discuss about the instantaneous velocity and how we can calculate the instantaneous velocity with the help of the graphical method as well as the differential calculation method, right? So here instantaneous velocity, that means the velocity of an object at an instant of the time. Now if the velocity of an object at an instant of the time remains constant with the time, if the instantaneous velocity, or we can say that the velocity of an object remains constant with the time, the motion is said to be a uniform motion. But in a practical application, the velocity, or we can say that the speed of an object does not constant with the time. So we can say that if the velocity is changes with respect to time, we define the acceleration, and the motion is said to be a accelerated motion. So dear student, in this video we will discuss about what do you mean by the acceleration, what is the average acceleration, how we can calculate the acceleration at a particular instant of the time. So let us start with the acceleration. So dear student, we know that if the velocity of an object remains constant with the time, the motion is called the uniform motion. And if the velocity of an object changes with the time and the distance, the motion is called the non-uniform motion. So dear student, uniform motion, that means the velocity of an object remains constant with the time, and non-uniform motion, the velocity is keep changing with the time as well as the distance. So dear student, here we define the rate of change of velocity, that is called the acceleration. So dear student, what do you mean by the acceleration? The rate of change of velocity of an object with time is called the acceleration. So acceleration is defined as the time rate of change of velocity with respect to time, right? As the time at the particular time t1, velocity is v1, at the particular time t2, velocity is v2. So the change in the velocity we can determine with the help of the acceleration, right? So acceleration is a time rate of change of velocity with time, right? So we can say that if the velocity of an object remains constant with the time, so in case of the uniform motion, the acceleration will be zero, right? So if the velocity of an object remains constant with the time, right, the motion is said to be a uniform motion, and in case of the uniform motion, the rate of change of velocity is equal to zero. Velocity remains constant, so the rate of change of velocity is zero. So we can say that the acceleration is a zero. So dear student, understand about the acceleration. From the definition of the acceleration, the average acceleration is defined as the change of the velocity divided by the time interval. So from the definition of the acceleration, we can define the average acceleration. Average acceleration is defined as the change in the velocity divided by the time interval. For example, suppose we consider at the time t1, the velocity of the object is a v1, and at the particular time t2, the velocity of the object changes from v1 to v2. So what is the change in the velocity? Change in the velocity, that means the final velocity minus initial velocity. So from the definition of the average acceleration is equal to the change in the velocity divided by the time interval, or we can say that the delta v divided by delta t. Delta v, that means the change in the velocity, v2 minus v1 divided by time interval t2 minus t1. Dear student, here v1 is the velocity of an object at the time t1 and v2 is the velocity of the object at the time t2. So dear student, the average acceleration is equal to the change in the velocity divided by time interval. So delta v divided by delta t. So dear student, here what is the unit of the acceleration? Yes, unit of the velocity is meter per second and unit of the time is a second. So from that, the unit of the acceleration is meter per second square, right? So the SI unit of the acceleration is a meter per second square. What is the dimensional formula of the acceleration? Dimensional formula of the acceleration you have studied in the chapter number 2. So the dimensional formula of the acceleration is m0 l1 t minus 2, right? So here the acceleration is a vector quantity. To represent the acceleration, we require both magnitude as well as the direction. So we can say that the acceleration is a vector quantity and the direction of the acceleration is in the direction of the change in the velocity. So direction of the acceleration is in the direction of the change in the velocity. But dear student, from the average acceleration, we can get the perfect information about the acceleration at the instant of the time. Same as from the average velocity, we cannot get the value of the velocity at the particular instant of the time. Similarly, from the average acceleration, we cannot get the value of the acceleration at a particular time. So for that, we need to define the instantaneous acceleration. The acceleration of an object at a given instant of a time is called the instantaneous acceleration. And how we can define the instantaneous acceleration? Yes, limit of the average acceleration is called the instantaneous acceleration. So if we take a limit delta t tends to 0 in the average acceleration, we get the instantaneous acceleration. So limit delta t tends to 0. What is the meaning of the limit delta t tends to 0? The time interval delta t is a very small, right? So the acceleration at a time t is given by a is equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta v divided by delta t. So here delta v divided by delta t is the average acceleration and the limit of the average acceleration at a very small time interval is called the instantaneous acceleration. So the instantaneous acceleration a is equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta v by delta t. So here delta v by delta t, limit delta t tends to 0, delta v by delta t is represented by dv by dt. That is a differentiation of the velocity with respect to time. Derivation of the velocity with respect to time give us the instantaneous acceleration. Similarly, the differentiation of the position with respect to time give us the instantaneous velocity. Same way, the differentiation of the velocity with respect to time give us the instantaneous acceleration. Right? Understand, dear student? So dear student, understand what is the acceleration and how we can calculate the acceleration by a differential calculation. Similarly, where if we calculate the velocity with the help of the differential calculation, the differentiation of the position give us the velocity. Same way, the differentiation of the velocity give us the acceleration. Dear student, the acceleration we can calculate using graphical method also. So let us understand how graphically the acceleration will be calculated. So dear student, first of all, what information we get from the position time graph for the accelerated motion? If the object is in the motion and the velocity of the object is changes with the time, we can say that the motion of the object is a accelerated motion. And from the position time graph for the accelerated motion, what information we get about the acceleration from the position versus time graph? So dear student, we know that acceleration is the second derivative of the position with respect to time. The second derivative of the position with respect to time give us the acceleration, and the second derivative of the any function in the max is directly related to the curvature of the graph. So dear student, from the curvature of the graph, position time graph, we can get the information about acceleration, right? So dear student, first position time graph, if the position time graph is a concave up, right? If the position time graph as shown in this figure A, if the position time graph for the accelerated motion is a concave up, curvature upward direction, right? So we can say that the acceleration of the object is a positive. So got it? If the position time graph, if you draw the position time graph for the motion, and at a particular instant, if the position time graph is a curvature upward direction, we can say that the acceleration of the object at that point is a positive. Instead of this, if the position time graph is a concave downward direction, the acceleration of an object is a negative, right, at this particular time, right? So from the curvature of the position time graph, we can get the information about the acceleration. Acceleration is a positive, negative or zero. But if there is no curvature in the position time graph, the acceleration will be zero. If you draw a position time graph, and if the position time graph is a linear, we can say that the motion is a uniform motion, and for the uniform motion the acceleration will be zero. So dear student, if the no curvature in the position time graph, we can say that the acceleration is zero. If the in the position time graph, if the at a particular instant, if the curvature is in the upward direction, we can say that the acceleration will be positive, and if the curvature is in the downward direction, the acceleration is a negative. So dear student, from the position time graph, we can get the acceleration is positive, negative or zero. If the position time graph is a concave up, the acceleration is positive at that particular time. If the position time graph is a concave down, the acceleration is negative at that particular time. And if there is no curvature in the position time graph, we can say that the acceleration will be zero, right? So the here the graph shows the positive acceleration, negative acceleration and the zero acceleration. So from the position time graph, we can get the acceleration is positive or negative, or acceleration is more or less. If the curvature of the graph is a more, right, we can say that the acceleration is a more, and if the curvature of the position time graph is a less, the acceleration is a less. But we cannot get the value of the average acceleration or the acceleration at a particular instant of the time. So for that, we can understand about the velocity time graph for the motion. So let us understand the velocity time graph. How we can draw the velocity time graph? To draw the velocity time graph, we take a time on the x-axis and velocity on the y-axis. And for the at the different instant of the time, we can plot a velocity time graph, and this graph is called the velocity time graph. From the position time graph, we can know the acceleration is positive, negative or zero, or acceleration is more or less. But from the velocity time graph, we can calculate the average acceleration during a given time interval. So how the velocity time graph we draw, right? How we can draw the velocity time graph? On the y-axis we take a velocity, and on the x-axis we take a time. So if the velocity time graph for the motion is a straight line parallel to the time axis, the velocity of the object remains constant with the time, right? Like this graph, if the velocity time graph for the motion is a straight line parallel to the time axis, we can say that the velocity of an object remains constant with the time, and the motion is said to be a uniform motion. So for the uniform motion, the velocity time graph is a straight line parallel to the time axis. So in this graph, if you consider the velocity, initial velocity, that is a v0 is the initial velocity. Velocity at the time t is equal to 0 is called the initial velocity. So at the time t equal to 0, the velocity is v0, and this velocity v0 is constant with the time. So the if the graph velocity time graph is a straight line parallel to the time axis, the motion is said to be a uniform motion, and except this all, we can say that the motion is a non-uniform motion. But how we can calculate the average acceleration? So from the velocity time graph, now we will see later on, right? But first of all, from the velocity time graph, we can understand, we can know the motion type of the motion of the object. If the velocity time graph is a straight line parallel to the time axis, the motion is said to be a uniform motion, or otherwise the motion is called the non-uniform motion. But if the velocity time graph is a linear in a upward direction or a linear in a downward direction, we can say that the motion is a non-uniform motion. But in this case, the acceleration remains constant with the time. So if the velocity time graph is a linear in the upward direction, that means the velocity of the object increases with the time. And if the velocity time graph is a linear in a downward direction, we can say that the velocity of the object is decreases with the time. And but in this case, right, the acceleration of an object remains constant, and so the motion is said to be a uniform accelerated motion. So dear student, first of all, the from the velocity time graph, we can know the type of the motion. First, in the previous graph, if the velocity time graph is a straight line parallel to the time axis, we can say that the motion is said to be a uniform motion. But if the velocity time graph for the motion is a straight line, right, linear, the acceleration of an object remains constant, and the motion is said to be a uniform accelerated motion, right? So uniform accelerated motion, that means here the velocity is increases with the time, and the rate of change of velocity, that is called the acceleration, remains constant with the time, right? So if the velocity time graph is a linear, we can say that the velocity is increases with the time, so the motion is said to be a uniform accelerated motion. And here if the velocity is decreases with the time, the motion is called the uniform decelerated motion, or we can say that the retarded motion. Why it is called the retarded motion? So what is the retarded motion? If the velocity of the object decreases with the time, we get the acceleration negative, and so that the motion is called the decelerated motion. So understand dear student, if the velocity time graph is a linear in the upward direction, right, the velocity of an object increases with the time, and the acceleration is a positive, and this type of the motion is known as the uniform accelerated motion. But if the velocity time graph is a linear in the downward direction, the velocity of the object decreases with the time, we get the acceleration is a negative, and this type of the motion is said to be a uniform decelerated motion, or we can say that the retarded motion. So dear student, understand about a velocity time graph and how we can determine the type of the motion from the velocity time graph. Now dear student, we will see how we can calculate the average acceleration from the velocity time graph. So the velocity time graph for the motion. Second use of the velocity time graph is to calculate the average acceleration, or we can say that the acceleration at any instant of the time. The slope of the velocity time graph gives the average acceleration during any time interval. Here, if you calculate the slope of the velocity time graph for the uniform accelerated motion or for the non-uniform accelerated motion, if you draw a tangent at any point, right? The slope of the tangent at any point in the velocity time graph gives the acceleration at that time. So from the velocity time graph, we can calculate the average acceleration as well as the instantaneous acceleration for the object, right? So if we consider the velocity time graph, right, is a linear in the upward direction, that is the uniform accelerated motion, right? So how we can calculate the slope of the velocity time graph? So take any two instant of the time. At the time t1, the velocity of the object is a v1. At the time t2, the velocity of the object is a v2. So draw the triangular shape at these two instant a and b, right? We get the 3 point a, b and c, right? So the average acceleration we can calculate with the help of the slope. So how we can calculate the slope? Slope is equal to y coordinates divided by x coordinate. So here how we can calculate the slope? BC divided by AC. So BC, how we can calculate BC? V2 minus V1 is equal to the BC, and T2 minus T1 we can get the value of AC. So the average acceleration A is equal to slope and BC divided by AC, V2 minus V1 divided by T2 minus T1, and the tangent of the angle theta made by the velocity time graph is also equal to the slope of the graph. So if you know the angle theta here angle theta, tangent of this theta, that is equal to slope, right? Slope is equal to tan theta. We can also calculate the slope with the help of the tangent of the angle made by the velocity time graph. So dear student, understand about how we can calculate the average acceleration from the velocity time graph. How we can calculate the instantaneous acceleration? So for the uniform motion, right, the average acceleration and the instantaneous acceleration will be same, right? It may be a same, but for the non-uniform accelerated motion, at the any point, the slope of the tangent at any point gives the acceleration at that point. So dear student, now next and the important use of the velocity time graph is that from the velocity time graph we can calculate the distance traveled by the object or the displacement of an object during a given time interval, right? So how we can calculate the distance or the displacement of an object during the given time interval from the velocity time graph? The In the velocity time graph, the area under the time axis gives the distance or the displacement of an object during that time interval. So if you calculate the area covered by the velocity time graph on the time axis, it gives the distance traveled by the object, or we can say that the displacement of an object in a given time interval. So for that, if we consider the velocity time graph for the uniform motion, right? So if the velocity time graph for the uniform motion is a straight line parallel to the time axis, right? Straight line parallel to the time axis. Now if you want to find the distance traveled by the object in a time interval t second, 0 to t second. So in the 0 to t second, how much area covered by the velocity time graph on the time axis? It is the area of this rectangle, and area of the rectangle we can easily calculate by a height into the base, right? So the velocity time graph is a straight line parallel to the time axis, and the area under it between time t equal to 0 and t equal to t is the area of rectangle of a height u. U is the initial velocity and base t, that is the time. So we calculate the height u minus 0, that is the u, and t minus 0, that is a t. So the area is height multiplied by base u into t. So the area ut, this area covered by the velocity time graph on the time axis, gives the displacement of the object in that time interval. So here the displacement of the object in a time interval t is equal to u into t, because here the velocity of the object remains constant with the time. So here the displacement, or we can say that the distance, right? So if the graph is in the upward direction, in the upward of the time axis, we take the displacement positive, and if the graph is in the below the time axis, we take the displacement negative. So from the velocity time graph, we can calculate the distance as well as the displacement. Distance we take a always positive, while the displacement we take a positive and the negative. If the velocity time graph is above the time axis, we take the displacement positive, and if the velocity time graph is below the time axis, we take the displacement is a negative. So dear student, from the velocity time graph, we can also calculate the distance traveled by the object or displacement in a given time interval. So let us take another example how we can calculate the distance and the displacement of the object from the velocity time graph. So if we consider the velocity time graph for the uniform accelerated motion, so if we consider this velocity time graph is a straight line, linear, right? Now if we want to find the distance traveled by the object during a time interval t1 and t2. So during a time interval t1 and t2, area covered by the velocity time graph is equal to the area of this triangle ABC and the area of rectangle this ACDE, right? So how we can calculate the distance traveled by the object? The distance traveled by the object is equal to the area of this triangle ABC and the area of rectangle ACDE, and the sum of these two area, that is the total area covered by the velocity time graph under the time axis, give us the distance traveled by the object in that time interval. So dear student, understand the velocity time graph for the motion and use of the velocity time graph for the motion. What are the use of the velocity time graph for the motion? First use, from the velocity time graph we can know the type of the motion, right? So if the velocity time graph is a straight line parallel to the time axis, we can say that the motion is a uniform motion. But if the velocity time graph is a linear in the upward direction, the motion is the uniform accelerated motion, and in that the acceleration of the object is a positive. If the velocity time graph is a linear in the downward direction, the motion is called the uniform decelerated motion, and the acceleration in this case is a negative. Second use of the velocity time graph. From the velocity time graph, we can calculate the acceleration, average acceleration and the acceleration of an object. The slope of the velocity time graph gives the average acceleration during a given time interval. And third use of the velocity time graph is, from the velocity time graph we can calculate the distance traveled by the object or the displacement of the object during a given time interval. How we can calculate the distance traveled by the object? The area covered by the velocity time graph on the time axis gives the distance traveled by the object or the displacement of the object. If the velocity time graph is in the above the time axis, the displacement we consider positive, and if the velocity time graph is below the time axis, displacement we take a negative. Distance we consider always positive. If the graph is above the time axis or below the time axis, we can consider the distance always positive. But if the graph is above the time axis, we take this area positive and we take the displacement is a positive. And if the velocity time graph is below the time axis, right, we take the area negative and the displacement is a negative. So from the velocity time graph we can get the information about the average acceleration and the instantaneous acceleration. One more point is that the tangent slope of the tangent drawn at any point in the velocity time graph give us the acceleration at that time. So dear student, I hope that you understand all the point explained in the video. Thank you very much for watching my video.